On Answers for Living today, we're going to be looking at work. Why do we struggle with work so much? Well, remember the tree in the middle of the garden? God said to Adam and Eve, "You are not to eat of the tree that's in the middle of the garden." That's found in Genesis 3. Well, Satan tempted Eve, and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, and Adam ate it also, and the punishment was severe. They lost their relationship with God. There was pain in childbirth. The ground was cursed. Thorns and thistles grew. Work was going to be tough. And one day they were going to physically die. Genesis 3, chapter 22, or verse 22 says, "So the Lord banished them from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken." Well, why even put the tree in the garden? Well, because God wanted us to love him. And he gave us a choice. He said, "If you love me, obey me, don't eat the fruit. If you don't love me, eat what you want, but there will be punishment." Love is a choice. God didn't want robots. Now, if we choose to love God, we will have an awesome eternity. If we choose not to love God, there'll only be pain and suffering waiting for us in eternity. So back to work. I heard a story about a very successful Christian businessman. Yet through some very unfortunate circumstances, he lost his business. 2 weeks after his business tanked, he was pushing shopping carts in a local grocery store. When he was asked why he was pushing grocery carts, his response was, "I needed to be doing something, and this is what I found." 3 months later, he had a great job. But my point is, he didn't stop working. We are to be doing something, period. Now, first thing I want you to understand this morning is work like God assigned you your job, because he did. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 17 to 24. "Nevertheless, each person should live as a believer in whatever situation the Lord has assigned them, just as God has called them." Now, in this situation, he's talking about slaves. Were you a slave when you were called? Don't let it trouble you, although if you can gain your freedom, do so. For the one who was a slave when called to faith in the Lord is the Lord's freed person. Similarly, the one who was free when called is Christ's slave. You are bought with a price. Do not become slaves of human beings. Brothers and sisters, each person, as responsible to God, should remain in the situation they were in when God called them. Now, we look specifically at what Paul's talking about here. He says if a person was a slave and he came to faith in Jesus Christ, he was to see his position in life as a slave as an assignment from God. And until the slave gained his freedom, he was to say, "I look at my position as a slave as an assignment." So, for us as believers in Christ, work as if God assigned you your job, and stay until God opens another door. You say, "Well, Pastor Dave, you don't know where I work. It is so bad. The people are crude. The place is dark and immoral." Wow, it really sounds like a place God ought to send a missionary. And you say, "Yeah, I wonder if he'll send one." My response is, he already has. He sent you.